Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Uptown Tote. This is a very fun and, believe it or not, easy to make item. And if you're interested, there is also an Uptown Hat that you can also make in the video that will be following this. It'll be at the end of the video. Okay, if you've never been to my channel before, please hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of these new offerings coming your way. And if you could hit the thumbs up and the notification bell, that way you won't miss anything. All right, well, let me show you what you're going to need. For this project, I'm going to be using Lion Brand Yarn's Color Made Easy. This is 100% acrylic yarn. Let me give you the stats on it. This particular skein has 247 yards. Also want to draw your attention to the fact that it is a number 5 or a bulky weight yarn. Okay, the number of skeins that you need is going to be listed right there across the bottom as well as in the video description below. I'm also recommending that you have a skein of the Gopher Faux. This is Thick and Quick by Lion Brand Yarns. And this is a jumbo size, number 7. This feels amazing, by the way. This feels even softer than it looks. Each of these has approximately 24 yards. And again, look across the bottom of the screen below, and I will tell you how many of these you're going to need for this project. I'm also recommending that you have a size K or 10.5, also 6.50 millimeter crochet hook. And as always, I'm recommending that you have a yarn needle and a pair of sharp scissors handy. I'm also recommending that you have a size M or 13 or 9.00 millimeter crochet hook to work the fur around the top of the bag. I'm also recommending that you have a tape measure handy just so you can check your gauge to make sure that you're within the dimensions that you would like to be. Okay, let's begin. I'm going to start with a slip knot. And our base chain, we are going to start with 31 chains. So go ahead and work those chains. I like to do mine in groups of 5. It makes it easier to keep count, but whatever you need to do, go ahead and chain 31. I also wanted to be clear that right now we are working on the bottom of the bag, which is the base. This is going to be just straight single crochet. So row 1 of the bottom of the bag, we are starting in the second chain from the hook. We are going to work a single crochet in that chain. And go ahead and single crochet in each chain across. Okay, this is what you should have after completing row 1. And if it's a little bit curly, don't worry about that. That is all going to come out with the next rows. So we're going to go ahead and turn, chain 1. And this is what you're going to do for rows 2 through 5. So you're going to do this, what I show you here, for 5 more rows. Okay, so we're going to single crochet, working through both loops in each stitch all the way across. This is what you should have at the end of the first 6 rows. Again, just single crochet in each stitch across, and you should have 30 stitches in each row. Okay, now we're ready to begin the first round, which is going to be worked completely around the perimeter of what we've just done. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. And for the beginning of this, we're simply going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch until you get to the end or to the first corner, which is right here. So go ahead and do that much, and then I'll show you what to do after that. Okay, after we've worked all the way across that row, we are going to turn and work across the row ends. Now remember, this is part of the perimeter around, so we're not going to work in this particular row end, but the next one we're going to work a single crochet, and then the next row end, and that next single crochet, and then in the next row end. That's 3, 4, 5, and then 1 more. 6. Be careful that you don't put extra stitches here. So again, starting here at the turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we are going to turn to work in the remaining part of that starting chain. And if you're not sure where to put your hook, you can find where that single crochet was and then work opposite that. If you want, you can even work on top of this extra strand if you'd like, so you don't have to worry about hiding that later. So go ahead and work single crochets all the way across that foundation row. Now you should have 30 single crochets once you finish working along this foundation chain. So after working across there, make sure that you have 30 chains from that first stitch worked here in that opposite that foundation chain all the way to here. Okay, now we're going to work across 6 of the row ends here. Remember, now we don't work in this because this has already been worked in. So we're going to work in the next row end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. After that, we simply join with a slip stitch to the first stitch of the round, which is right here. Okay, we want to make sure too that in this stitch, as we come around, or once we turn, we don't work in this because that is simply a join. Now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn, and the next 2 rows are going to be simply to work a single crochet in each single crochet around. So I'll go ahead and start you off. Make sure we notice we didn't work in that chain 1 loop. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just continue on. And it's fine if this is curling up on all edges like it is. That's by design, because we are now going to work in rounds as we work this bag. So go ahead and work this all the way around, and I will show you the join at the end of this round. At the end of this round, just join with a slip stitch to that first single crochet of the round. You want to be careful that you don't just keep crocheting. It would be very easy to just keep crocheting and miss the join, but it's very important that you do stop. But one way you can check is when you see the front side of the stitch, like you do here. As soon as you see that first front side of the stitch coming up on your left or upon your right, depending if you're watching the right or left-handed version, that's when you know it's time to join. So that's the end of round 2. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to work 1 more round. Remember now, this is the join. You don't want to work in the join. Okay, so go ahead and work 1 more round, all single crochet, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. After working these stitches all the way around, we join again to that first stitch of the round, and notice how it looks like a little boat here. Okay, so it is going up like a tube. If yours is still looking flat, then you're adding stitches and that's an issue. You don't want to do that. Now we are going to actually turn the work, and the outside here, this is going to be the front side, or the outside should be facing. Now we're going to begin the lattice work, which is also called the diamond stitch. Okay, now we've chained 1 to begin round number 4. And round number 4 is going to involve working in round number 1, which is right down here. The first complete round we worked around the bottom of this bag. Okay, we're going to wrap our hook. We're going to get ready for a treble crochet. We're going to skip the first stitch up here, and then down below on round 1, we're going to work in the 3rd stitch. 1, 2, 3. We're going to work in that 3rd stitch. We're going to work that treble crochet as a front post treble, just like this, around that stitch. This is really important. So just to be clear again, it's the 1, 2, the 3rd stitch on the very first round that we worked. Okay, now again, we are skipping the first stitch on the current round, and we're going to work in the next stitch a single crochet, We're going to do that 3 more times in each of the next 3 stitches. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have 4 single crochets worked. Now we're going to work another treble crochet right next to where this treble crochet was worked, on that next stitch right here on the first round. I promise you, once we establish this round, the rest is going to take care of itself as long as the numbers are correct on this particular round. Okay, so now that we've done that, we are going to actually skip the next 4 stitches on round 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the next stitch right here, again on round 1, we're going to work a treble, front post treble crochet. Okay, now coming back up to the current round, we're going to skip 2 stitches. 1, 2, and we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. If this is the first time you've ever seen this stitch, it's actually called the diamond stitch from many of my other patterns. Hang with me just for a minute, because this is a new way to work it. But once we work this round and going across, I think you'll understand what's happening. Okay, so now we are going to work, after those 4 single crochets, we're going to work another front post treble, again back on that round 1 down here, and it's right next to where that last stitch was worked. We're actually working the bottom part of the diamond as we go around. It's going to look like a lot of V's once we get done here. Okay, so now after working around this stitch, we're going to skip 4 stitches down below here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to work another treble, front post treble around that stitch. Okay, and then back up on the current row, or round rather, skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then work 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that is the repeat all the way around, but I'm going to work. Now after working this all the way around, we have just worked the 4 single crochets up on that top round, and we're going to need to work 1 more front post treble, and again worked right next to the stitch that we had worked previously down on that first round, and skip 1 single crochet on this round, since we only are adding 1 treble crochet here, so this stitch replaces this stitch, and we're going to join with a slip stitch to the first stitch of the round, which happens to be that first treble crochet that we worked. So let me go ahead and pause and give you a view of what you should have now. This is from the bottom, and if you can imagine, this is the very bottom of the bag, and you should have 5 diamonds. You know, the bottom part is the bottom part of the diamond begun on each side, a diamond on this end, and again 5 diamonds on this side and 1 on the end, just like so. There's a total of 72 stitches total. Now for the next 3 rounds, this is going to be round 5, 6, and 7. We're going to chain 1, turn, and we're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. And remember, the first one's going to be in the top of that treble stitch. Make sure that we don't add any stitches as you go around. So go ahead and work 3 rounds, turning at the end of each round of just single crochet, and then joining with the slip stitch at the end of each round. After joining at the end of round number 7, that is after completing those 3 rounds of single crochet, I've turned and go ahead and chain 1, and we are going to start with a single crochet in the first 2 stitches. 1, 2. Now this is where we work the round to complete our diamond. We're going to get ready for that treble crochet, and again 3 rounds below, 1, 2, 3, it would be the single crochet that is right on top of that treble crochet. we're going to work a treble crochet, front post treble right over that one, and then skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next stitch should be right on top of that post stitch. We're going to work a treble crochet right on top of that one. On the current round, we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then single crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see that the first diamond part of this lattice tote is completed. And that's what we're going to do all the way around. I'll do a couple of these with you. Okay, so right next to the last, where the last stitch was worked, where that front post treble, we're going to work one on this stitch, and also it's right on top of where that front post treble was from several rows below. Okay, and then we're going to skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next one, which is right on top of where that treble is, go ahead and work that. See, this is why I say once you establish that round 4 down here, the rest should come together rather easily. Skip 2 stitches back behind on the current round and single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Okay, now we're going to do this again. Work a treble crochet right next to the last treble crochet, and it's right on top of the treble crochet from a few rounds back or several rounds back. Okay, and now we skip the next 4 stitches down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then work one right over the next, which again is over that post stitch. Lots of ways to check to see which is the correct stitch. Skip 2 stitches and then single crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me stop and show you what you should have. Okay, so this is the end where we started, and now we're working along the side, and you can see the diamonds forming. So go ahead and work this the rest of the way around. After working that all the way around, at the end we're going to skip the next 2 stitches and then work in the last 2 stitches, and yes, this is a stitch here, that's where we made the turn. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches in between each of these trebles, and then join with a slip stitch. Okay, now we're going to turn and we're going to work 3 more rounds of just single crochet all the way around. Just making sure that I get that's right, in the correct stitch. So go ahead, 3 more rounds of 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Make sure that you turn at the end of each round as well. This is what you should have after finishing those 3 additional rounds of single crochet. Again, the stitch count should remain at 72 throughout this project. Okay, now what I'm going to show you, I'm going to first give you an assignment, and then I will begin it for you and then leave you to finish until the next step. Okay, this is round number 4. It's worked up here like we did on the 4th round, but then we work into the single crochets on the 1st round. Remember that. Okay, so what we're going to do now, and I will show you how to begin a repeat of round number 4. We're going to repeat round 4, 5, 6, 7, which are those single crochets, and then 8, and then 9, 10, 11. We're going to do that 4 more times, and then you're going to repeat round 4 one more time. In the end, you should have 5 diamonds like this, diamond here, so 5 diamonds vertically on top of each other for this pattern. I'm going to go ahead and show you the first repeat. This is actually round 12, but it's a repeat of round 4. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to treble crochet in this stitch right here, which is above this treble crochet from the previous, from several rounds below. Okay, we're going to skip the first stitch right here on the current round, and we're going to single crochet, whoops, the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is very similar to what we did on round 1, but I know working it above and into other stitches, it does make it look a little bit different, which is why I'm starting it for you. Hopefully this is actually easier at this point. Now we work a treble crochet in the stitch next to this treble crochet, and again it's on top of this treble crochet, so it should be very visual for you to detect which one to crochet on top of. Okay, so now after this we're going to skip these 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to front post treble around this single crochet, which again is right above this stitch, and skip 2 stitches, 1, 2 behind the stitch, and then single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Okay, so go ahead and complete those rows after working this until you have 4 diamonds, 1, 2, 3, 4 diamonds tall. This is what your bag should look like. When lying flat, the bag is approximately 13 inches wide, and from the beginning of row 4, let me show you here, because this is actually the flattened bottom here. So from this point to the top so far is approximately 9.5 inches. Now we are ready to discontinue the gray yarn. Let's go ahead and give it a chain, give it a tug, and I'm going to clip a generous strand so it will be easy to hide that. So let's go ahead and hide any loose strands that we have, and I'll show you the technique I like to use. Feel free to use whatever system you like, but I use my yarn needle and turning your item to the back side. I'm just going to run this down into some of the stitches down below. And I'm actually going to run it underneath several of these stitches. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. That should make do. And we just pull it through like so. Give it a little tug back. And you want to clip this as close as you can, but you do not want to clip your stitches. That's very easy to do. Okay, so I have another strand, and I will likewise hide this one as well within my work. Now we're ready to work the fur around the top of the bag, and I'm recommending that you use your size M or 13 or 9.00 millimeter crochet hook. And I'm actually going to start in the same place where we fastened off, and I'm going to just stick that hook in there. Might be a little bit of a tight fit, and I'm just going to pull this yarn through to begin crocheting. And I don't need to worry about a slip knot. I am just going to crochet over this section as I go. We're going to chain 2, and what we're going to do here is we are going to crochet a double crochet in every other stitch. So instead of working in this stitch where we joined, we're actually going to work in the stitch right next to it just to get started right there at the joint. And I'm going to crochet over this little tail for a little while. I promise you it's not going to be seen. Then we're going to skip the next stitch. Okay. Then we're going to crochet over the next. Again, a double crochet. Skip the next stitch here, and then we're going to crochet a double crochet in the next stitch. And we're almost done crocheting over this tail, which I promise you is not going to be seen. So we're just going to do that all the way around the top. Skip the next stitch,
double crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, double crochet in the next. All right, go ahead and do that all the way around the top. After having worked this all the way around, I just wanted to show you that I have one stitch left in between the last stitch and the next stitch. Now we're going to join with a slip stitch. I'm going to try to find the top of that single crochet, which is right here. I know I can't show it to you, or you can just join at that chain 2. That's fine too. So we're going to chain 2. Now instead of having to work in the top of the stitches, what I'm going to encourage you to do is find the space in between the 2 stitches, which is right here, and go ahead and work the double crochets in between each of the stitches around. You're going to have to use your fingers. Okay, so like in between these 2, you can see my finger there. You can actually reach for the top part of that stitch, and you can feel that and work in as you go around. Go ahead and try that one again. Okay, so go ahead and work in between those stitches all the way around the top of the bag. After working all the way around, we're going to join with a slip stitch to that stitch at the beginning of the round and give it a chain and give it a tug. And we're going to go ahead and clip the yarn. And you can go ahead and hide this in the yarn. You can use the needle, or you could even just use your crochet hook. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. This looks really lovely, and it feels even better than it looks. Let me go ahead and show you how to attach the handles. I want to show you the handles that I've selected for this bag. These are very easy to attach and to deattach should you want to use them on other bags with these little hook handles, and I'm going to show you just how easy they are to attach. And they have these little swivel things here. These are available on Amazon.com, and I'll put the link in the video description below. And you just simply, I would just recommend hooking it on to that last, if I can push this in, okay. Last round, just like this. I'm pushing this in, just like that, and it will hold the bag nice and securely. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make a pom-pom, and I'm going to be using this Clover pom-pom maker. And let me go ahead and get a measurement on this for you. This one is approximately 3 inches wide. Okay, so I know they do make a variety of these, and you really don't even need this. You can use cardboard if you like. I kind of like using this because I think you get a better pom-pom out of the deal. Okay, so to use this, let me just show you real quickly. They are 2 pieces, and you actually pull this apart at the end. And I just wanted to show you how the pin goes, because these are really confusing for me at first. When I bought them, I had to look up to find out how to operate them. Okay, so if you open one side, let me show you that both sides do open. Okay, we're going to start with one side. And there are a variety of ways to do this. So for this fur, I'm going to be using this faux fur. And I'm going to try to hold this together. And I'm going to wrap around this part. And I'm going to wrap 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I'm going to close this part. And now I'm going to open this part on the other side. We'll bring this over here. And let's wrap 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then we're going to close that. Okay. Okay, after wrapping the yarn around the pom-pom maker, now we are going to cut the yarn. Now notice that in the middle where these two are put together, there is a place to put our scissors right there. So I'm going to cut through all the yarn on both sides of the pom-pom maker. And if you have a larger, sharper, sharp pair of scissors, this will probably go a lot faster. So I'm going to cut one side. After completely, make sure you completely cut all of the yarn there. Okay. And then we're going to cut the other side. Show you you can feel it. I'll show you the opening once we cut through some of this yarn. Okay, the little indentation is right there. Okay, you can see it better now. So go ahead and cut all the way around the other side as well. So after we've completely cut the yarn around the pom-pom maker, we're going to take a string, and I'm actually going to use some yarn that's left over from the making of the hat, since we're going to be hiding this in the hat or the purse or the Uptown Tote, whichever you are working on. And go ahead and I'm going to tie this. I'm going to tie it very tightly. Okay, now that is, I'm going to pull it really tightly. That's securing it to the center. And I'm going to do that again as tightly as I can, but without breaking the yarn. And I'm going to do it a third time just to make sure that it stays. Okay, now we are ready to separate the pom-pom maker. Okay, and it looks like I missed a piece of yarn. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, no, I didn't. All right, there we go. And then we pull it from the other side. Okay, I did miss some here. And if you did, that's okay. It's easy to do that with this particular yarn. Okay, so it does look a little rough right now. It looks like there's been a cat fight here in my soft box with this yarn. It does leave some fluff behind, so you have to probably take it outside and shake it a bit, which is what I'm going to do. And you go ahead and trim it up just a bit as well. The couple of long pieces that were left. If I can get, there we go. Maybe fourth time's the charm. There we go. And then here's a longer piece here. I'm going to just go ahead and trim this. Okay. I think the rest is good to go. So you can see this is going to fluff up once I work on it. And this is how you make your faux fur pom-pom. So to make the string, which is going to attach the optional pom-poms onto our tote, all you need to do is make a chain that is approximately 9 inches long, or as long as you prefer. So I'm going to go ahead and chain this until it measures about 9 inches long. Okay, now we need to simply attach this chain, okay, our 9-inch chain, to the bag, and this is very easy to do. You can feel around the stitches here, and you can simply bring this around that stitch right there. And this way, it's a little, it's a little adjustable depending on how you want the pom-poms to look. So now we need to attach the pom-poms to the strings. Okay, so there are a number of ways to do this. I'm actually going to recommend just tying them in a nice secure knot as close to the base as you can. We have a lot of extra string here, as you can see. Okay, give it a nice little tie. And we're going to tie it one more time. And since it's so buried deep down in there, I'm just going to give these strands a little clip close, but make sure you don't clip the knot. And that way, this is completely hidden inside the pom-pom. And that's one pom-pom. And so now all we need to do is tie on the second one, which is right here. And notice that I tied all the way to the knot here, or the slip knot of our first of that chain. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Tying it again very tightly, and let's do it a third time. There we go. And then we're going to give these strands a clip, again close, but not too close so that the knot is affected. Okay, so now the pom-poms on our bag. Let's see, let's bring it back here. You can see a little bit. I'll show this to you a little bit better, and you can adjust them as you prefer.
Well, I hope you enjoyed making the Uptown Tote with me today. If you did, please give me that thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any more notifications. And just as a reminder, there's also a link in the video description below if you want to make the hat that matches this project. Okay, well, thanks for joining me today. God bless. Bye-bye.